what you know you can't explain. But you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong. You don't know what it is, but it's there. Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. Experience the awakening. Brilliant anonymous researchers. Patriots, join us in the Patriot Army. Trust the plan, pain coming. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. RedStateTalkRadio.com, Brighteon.tv, Rumble.com/MG Show. The end won't be for everyone. That choice to know will be yours. Where we go one, we go all. Fight, 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 and fight we will. We fight every day right here on the MG Show. Welcome to the MG Show, where the UN is going down, and your president, Donald J. Trump, just slapped the crap out of the rest of the world at the UN. Globalism is dead. The illegal immigration experiment is dead. He's showing you the vision of our vision of the world, guys. EU must stop buying. They're fighting Russia, but they're buying oil from Russia. I mean, common sense tells you that that's stupid. Shady Groove, welcome to the show of common sense, the MG Show.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you, sir, so much. The place where psyops go to die, and the place where we have seen this game before, my friends. Where have we seen this game before? Oh, yeah. That game was played during World War II, where they were funding and supplying oil to both sides. The families of the world were supplying oil to both sides so that they could initiate a world couple of world wars. And Donald Trump just went out there on the world stage and said, guess what? It's not gonna work this time. I just blew your cover. I just told everybody that what you're doing is supplying oil to the people that you're supposedly being attacked by.
That's right. That's right. So, Shady, this speech is about 56 minutes long. We're going to play it. We're going to have commentary. You're not going to want to miss this speech, guys. It is that important to watch. This is your president taking control, as we should be, because our control was usurped by the bloodline. So he's speaking directly to the bloodlines. Globalism is the bloodlines, guys. And Shady, this speech is absolutely phenomenal. And Shady and I noticed today, and I think you guys noticed, that the escalator was broken. The teleprompter didn't work. They were probably trying to set him up to look bad, guys, okay? These people are not our friends, and we just walked into the belly of the beast with our president, Donald J. Trump, and he said exactly what I would love to say to these world leaders, Shady.
Isn't that amazing? Like, look at the number of times that you saw Barack Obama there, or George Bush Jr., good Lord. You remember those speeches and what in the world the context of that was? It was nothing but placate. Oh, we'll do whatever you want. We'll do whatever. No, that's not what the founders meant. The founders who founded America did not mean for us to be like sitting around and like letting everybody else take charge. That's not what leaders do. Leaders lead. That means we're first. That means that people couldn't even believe about the things that we're thinking about, much less the fact that we implemented them. And what Donald Trump is doing is he is remaking the world stage and reorienting and reprioritizing and doing exactly what should happen. America should be the tip of the spear. Our economy, our financial situation, and our protection of innocent until proven guilty should be elevated above everybody else. Because guess what, Jeff? You know what? Guess what? Everybody else's country sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to thank everybody. We got G Brothers. We got Cram. Thank you. Or YT. We got Real Iron Eagle. Prepare for the downfall of the UN. And I think we got another couple of donations for clothing. We call those Red Castles because there's naked people in here. But I see that we got a lot of people here. But Shady, this, people are saying Trump's under control. He's under bad advisement.
No.
You will watch Israel's face. You will watch the EU's face when he delivers these marks, guys. They are not happy with him. That's why you see all these threats against your president, the president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, because he's going against the globalist bloodline psychopaths.
Is that why Nancy's drinking?
Oh, Nancy Pelosi has a very important message.
She does.
We need to play this because,
we're going to need you to interpret this for us, guys.
If you're still a Democrat after watching this, go take your pain pills and vodka, okay? Here we go.
You can't beat them, join them.
I'll now turn the microphone over to my friend and the strongest champion of democracy we have seen in these trying times, and that is House Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi.
Tell that to the Supreme Court. Tell them to the Supreme Court, that decided Citizens United to undermine our democracy. To the distinguished, excuse me. Okay, excuse me. And here we are, and I'm honored to join, of course, our champion for all of this, Adam Schiff, as a member of the House staff of Senator Adam Schiff. Never before has this legislation been more necessary.
Let's have another round.
The face of the Democrat Party.
That is really, that is the state of the Democrat Party right now. They're drunk dumbasses. They're going against Charlie Kirk. 58 Democrats went against Charlie Kirk to honor somebody that got shot. This is the face of the Democrat Party. And if you identify with that, so be it. Stay away from me, you drunk, medicated pieces of crap.
You're at this point, they might be becoming a danger to society, friends.
Oh my God.
That's just not even really funny. Does her assistant not say, hey, maybe we should call in for a sick day today? You hit that bottle a little hard this morning, Miss Pelosi. Nobody helps these people out. AOC, you probably shouldn't go out there and demean a human being that was just murdered in front of the whole country whenever 65 to 80% of the country is still fairly normal.
These people are insane. I keep forgetting that I have an issue with my Stream Deck, but I can do it with my Discord right here. All right, so let's get into it. This is your president, Donald J. Trump, walking into the belly of the beast system, Shady Groove.
Listen, guys, I want you to pay extra attention to that. I know you've seen him talk before at the UN, but I want you to put the right context within what he's saying. Think about it like you are the foreign country that he's talking to. Understand that whenever he says these things about China, and then they show China sitting there, China not happy. And none of these other countries are very happy because what they're used to is this Okay, so what they're used to, Jeff, is diplomacy, right? What do they mean by that? They mean never talk about the elephant in the room. Never say the thing that everybody's thinking, but nobody is willing to say. Well, that's not really the American way, is it?
Yeah.
Donald Trump is actually heading the charge and showing the world, you thought we were belligerent before. Well, wait till you see what we got coming.
Yep. And Rev Rob says, drink to your loss because we keep winning. $17 Rumble Rant. Rev Rob, 5 subscriptions as well. We also had 2 Truth Seeker 17 as well. You guys rock. Let's go to your president, my president, Donald J. Trump, really locking horns with the deep state, Shady.
Absolutely. This is better than watching any type of competitive sport.
And we will stop it and give commentary when appropriate. But guys, I know you might have already seen this, but we want people that can't see this. It's early in the morning for the West Coast. Our broadcast goes worldwide. So we're going to go ahead and, take a look at it and maybe give you some commentary as well. But this is amazing, guys. The President Trump delivers remarks to the UN General Assembly. Here we go.
And we are going to discuss some of the stuff that happened yesterday after.
Here we go. Yes. I mean, there's so much news, guys. I can't take it. I'm tired of winning. It's hard winning, Shady. Oh my God.
Well, maybe if they give us our YouTube back, it would be easier to win.
Yeah, let's see how we get our YouTube back. Jim Jordan did say that today, so stay tuned, guys. Here we go. President Donald J. Trump at the UN General Assembly, because we got a lot of time. It's only a 2-hour show, and we got to get through everything.
Shady's stalling.
Here we go.
I've walked up the escalator on my own.
Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. And I don't mind making this speech without a teleprompter, because the teleprompter is not working. I feel very happy to be up here with you nevertheless, and that way you speak more from the heart. I can only say that whoever's operating this teleprompter is in big trouble. Hello, Madam First Lady. Thank you very much for being here. Madam President, Mr. Secretary General, First Lady of the United States, distinguished delegates, ambassadors, and world leaders. 6 years have passed since I last stood in this grand hall and addressed a world that was prosperous and at peace in my first term. Since that day, the guns of war have shattered the peace I forged on 2 continents. An era of calm and stability gave way to one of the great crises of our time. And here in the United States, 4 years of weakness, lawlessness, and radicalism under the last administration delivered our nation into a repeated set of disasters. 1 year ago, our country was in deep trouble, but today, just 8 months into my administration, we are the hottest country anywhere in the world, and there is no other country even close. America is blessed with the strongest economy, the strongest borders, the strongest military, the strongest friendships, and the strongest spirit of any nation on the face of the earth. This is indeed the golden age of America. We are rapidly reversing the economic calamity we inherited from the previous administration, including ruinous price increases and record-setting inflation like we've never had before. Under my leadership, energy costs are down, gasoline prices are down, grocery prices are down, mortgage rates are down, and inflation has been defeated. The only thing that's up is the stock market, which just hit a record high. In fact, it hit a record high 48 times in the last short period of time. Growth is surging, manufacturing is booming. The stock market, as I said, is doing better than it's ever done. And all of you in this room benefit by that, almost everybody. And importantly, workers' wages are rising at the fastest pace in more than 60 years. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? In 4 years of President Biden, we had less than $1 trillion of new investment into the United States. In just 8 months since I took office, we have secured commitments and money already paid for $17 trillion. Think of it, 4 years, less than $1 trillion, 8 months, much more than $17 trillion is being invested in the United States, and it's now pouring in from all parts of the world. We've implemented the largest tax cuts in American history and the largest regulation cuts in American history, making this once and again the best country on earth to do business. And many of the people in this room are investing in America, and it's turned out to be an awfully good investment during this 8-month period. In my first term, I built the greatest economy in the history of the world. We had the best economy ever, history of the world. And I'm doing the same thing again, but this time it's actually much bigger and even better. The numbers far surpass my record-setting first term. On our southern border, we have successfully repelled a colossal invasion, and for the last 4 months, and that's 4 months in a row, the number of illegal aliens admitted and entering our country.
Hang on 1 second. This is very important, but I just want to show you something real quick, guys. Holy moly. Shady, look at this.
You went and got the mail.
Look at that. This is a banner.
Crap.
I love it.
Okay, now I'm jealous.
There's 2 of them.
Now you got to send me mail.
I do. Holy moly.
I've got to put that in behind my green screen. Or no, on my green screen.
Trump bobblehead. Look at this, guys.
Oh no, it's Christmas time.
Holy moly, guys. And I got to show you this too. Regular MG show ones become psyopable.
You know you're showing them things you're going to have to mail to them.
Look at. Wow, guys.
Oh, it's black and white. That's good. You can see it on the green screen.
Holy
That looked good.
Look at this one, Shady.
Thank you. Wow.
Oh my God. Fatal Attractions. We love you.
Yeah, we got to give him some shout out.
Worth just interrupting our president of the United States real quick.
Send him some
Thank you guys so much. We're going to go back. We're going to go back to the president.
Some business.
Go ahead, Shady.
No, I was just saying we got to send him some business. I'm going to drop his link to his Twitter or his Twitter in here for you guys.
Yes, do that, please. Yes, music. I am excited, and we'll be able to auction off some more stickers. How about that? Oh my God!
Oh no, that sounds like Christmas is just around the corner.
I love it. Sticker auction. Yes, that we might do something like that. Cram. Stay tuned. Back to the president of the United States, who is disemboweling the UN, basically.
And we're disassembling. We disassembled Johnny Five.
We disassembled the General Assembly. How's that?
Disassembled General Assembly.
Disassemble
has been 0. Hard to believe, because if you look back just a year ago, it was millions and millions of people pouring in from all over the world, from prisons, from mental institutions, drug dealers. All over the world they came. They just poured into our country with the ridiculous open border policy of the Biden administration. Our message is very simple. If you come illegally into the United States, you're going to jail, or you're going back to where you came from, or perhaps even further than that. You know what that means. I want to thank the country of El Salvador for the successful and professional job they've done in receiving and jailing so many criminals that entered our country. And it was under the previous administration that the number became record-setting, and they're all being taken out. You have no choice. And other countries have no choice, because other countries are in the exact same situation with immigration. It's destroying your country, and you have to do something about it. On the world stage, America is respected again like it has never been respected before. You think about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, or 1 year ago, we were a laughingstock all over the world. At the NATO summit in June, virtually all NATO members formally committed to increase defense spending, at my request, from 2% to 5% of GDP, making our alliance far stronger and more powerful than it was ever before. In May, I traveled to the Middle East to visit my friends and rebuild our partnerships in the Gulf and those valued relationships with Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE. And other countries are now, I believe, closer than ever before. My administration has negotiated one historic trade deal after another, including with the United Kingdom, the European Union, Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, Indonesia, the Philippines, Malaysia, and many, many others. Likewise, in a period of just 7 months, I have ended 7 unendable wars. They said they were unendable. You're never going to get them solved. Some were going for 31 years, 2 of them, 31, think of it, 31 years. One was 36 years. One was 28 years. I ended 7 wars. And In all cases, they were raging with countless thousands of people being killed. This includes Cambodia and Thailand, Kosovo and Serbia, the Congo and Rwanda, a vicious, violent war that was, Pakistan and India, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia, and Armenia and Azerbaijan. It included all of them. No president or prime minister, and for that matter, no other country has ever done anything close to that. And I did it in just 7 months. It's never happened before. There's never been anything like that. I'm very honored to have done it. It's too bad that I had to do these things instead of the United Nations doing them. And sadly, in all cases, the United Nations did not even try to help in any of them. I ended 7 wars, dealt with the leaders of each and every one of these countries, and never even received a phone call from the United Nations offering to help in finalizing the deal. All I got from the United Nations was an escalator that on the way up stopped right in the middle. If the First Lady wasn't in great shape, she would have fallen. But she's in great shape. We're both in good shape. We both stood. And then a teleprompter that didn't work. These are the 2 things I got from the United Nations, a bad escalator and a bad teleprompter. Thank you very much. And by the way, it's working now. It just went on. Thank you. I think I should just do it the other way. It's easier. Thank you very much. I didn't think of it at the time because I was too busy working to save millions of lives. That is the saving and stopping of these wars. But later I realized that the United Nations wasn't there for us. They weren't there. I thought of it really after the fact, not during these negotiations, which were not easy. That being the case, what is the purpose of the United Nations? The UN has such tremendous potential. I've always said it. It has such tremendous, tremendous potential, but it's not even coming close to living up to that potential. For the most part, at least for now, all they seem to do is write a really strongly worded letter and then never follow that letter up. It's empty words, and empty words don't solve war. The only thing that solves war and wars is action. Now, after ending all of these wars and also earlier negotiating the Abraham Accords, which is a very big thing for which our country received no credit, never receives credit. Everyone says that I should get the Nobel Peace Prize for each one of these achievements. But for me, the real prize will be the sons and daughters who live to grow up with the mothers and fathers, because millions of people are no longer being killed in endless and unglorious wars. What I care about is not winning prizes, it's saving lives. We saved millions and millions of lives with the 7 wars. And we have others that we're working on, and you know that. Many years ago,
who will end the endless, guys?
A very successful real estate developer in New York, known as Donald J. Trump, I bid on the renovation and rebuilding of this very United Nations complex. I remember it so well. I said at the time that I would do it for $500 million, rebuilding everything. It would be beautiful. I used to talk about, I'm going to give you marble floors. They're going to give you terrazzo.
Midas touch.
I'm going to give you the best of everything. You're going to have mahogany walls. They're going to give you plastic. But they decided to go in another direction, which was much more expensive at the time, and which actually produced a far inferior product. And I realized that they did not know what they were doing when it came to construction, and that their building concepts were so wrong, and the product that they were proposing to build was so bad and so costly. It was going to cost them a fortune. And I said, and wait till you see the overruns. Well, I turned out to be right. They had massive cost overruns and spent between $2 and $4 billion on the building and did not even get the marble floors that I promised them. You walk on terrazzo. Do you notice that? As far as I'm concerned, frankly, looking at the building and getting stuck on the escalator, They still haven't finished the job. They still haven't finished. That was years ago.
Don't deserve him.
The project was so corrupt that Congress actually asked me to testify before them on the tremendous waste of money, because it turned out that they had no idea what it was, but they knew it was anywhere between $2 and $4 billion as opposed to $500 million with a guarantee. But they had no idea, and I said it cost much more than $5 billion. Unfortunately, many things in the United Nations are happening just like that, but on an even much bigger scale, much, much bigger. Very sad to see. Whether the UN can manage to play a productive role, I've come here today to offer the hand of American leadership and friendship to any nation in this assembly that is willing to join us in forging a safer, more prosperous world. And it's a world that we'll be much happier with. A dramatically better future is within our reach. But to get there, we must reject the failed approaches of the past and work together to confront some of the greatest threats in history. There is no more serious danger to our planet today than the most powerful and destructive weapons ever devised by man, of which the United States, as you know, has many. Just as I did in my first term, I've made containing these threats a top priority, starting with the nation of Iran. My position is very simple. The world's #1 sponsor of terror can never be allowed to possess the most dangerous weapon. That's why shortly after taking office, I sent the so-called Supreme Leader a letter making a generous offer. I extended a pledge of full cooperation in exchange for a suspension of Iran's nuclear program. The regime's answer was to continue their constant threats to their neighbors and U.S. interests throughout the region, and some great countries that are right nearby. Today, many of Iran's former military commanders, in fact, I can say almost all of them, are no longer with us. They're dead. And 3 months ago, in Operation Midnight Hammer, 7 American B-2 bombers dropped the 14 30,000-pound each bombs on Iran's key nuclear facilities, totally obliterating everything. No other country on earth could have done what we did. No other country has the equipment to do what we did. We have the greatest weapons on earth. We hate to use them. But we did something that for 22 years people wanted to do. With Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity demolished, I immediately brokered an end to the 12-day war, as it's called, between Israel and Iran, with both sides agreeing to fight no longer. As everyone knows, I have also been deeply engaged in seeking a ceasefire in Gaza. Have to get that done. Have to get it done. Unfortunately, Hamas has repeatedly rejected reasonable offers to make peace. We can't forget October 7th, can we? Now, as if to encourage continued conflict, some of this body is seeking to unilaterally recognize a Palestinian state. The rewards would be too great for Hamas terrorists for their atrocities. This would be a reward for these horrible atrocities, including October 7th, even while they refuse to release the hostages or accept a ceasefire. Instead of giving to Hamas and giving so much, because they've taken so much, they have taken so much. This could have been solved so long ago. But instead of giving in to Hamas's ransom demands, those who want peace should be united with one message: release the hostages now. Just release the hostages now.
Press 47 to release the hostages now. Let's go. And look at Israel. Hamas is in control of Palestine, guys.
As we have got to come together, and we will come together, got to get it done. We have to stop the war in Gaza immediately. We have to stop it. We have to get it done. We have to negotiate, immediately have to negotiate peace. We got to get the hostages back. We want all 20 back. We don't want 2 and 4. As you know, I got along with Steve Witkoff and others that helped us, Marco Rubio. We got most of them back. We were involved in all of them. But I always said the last 20 are going to be the hardest, and that's exactly what happened. We have to get them back now. We don't want to get back 2, and then another 2, and then 1, and then 3. Have this process. No, we want them all back, and we want the actually 38 dead bodies back too. Those parents came to me, and they want them back, and they want them back very quickly and very badly. As though they were alive, they want them. They want them every bit as much as if their son or daughter were alive. I've also been working relentlessly, stopping the killing in Ukraine. I thought that would be, of the 7 wars that I stopped, I thought that would be the easiest because of my relationship with President Putin, which had always been a good one. I thought that was going to be the easiest one. But in war, you never know what's going to happen. There are always lots of surprises, both good and bad. Everyone thought Russia would win this war in 3 days, but it didn't work out that way. It was supposed to be just a quick little skirmish. It's not making Russia look good. It's making them look bad. No matter what happens from here on out, this was something that should have taken a matter of days, certainly less than a week. And they've been fighting for 3.5 years and killing anywhere from 5,000 to 7,000 young soldiers, mostly soldiers, on both sides, every single week, from 5,000 to 7,000 dead young people, and some in cities, much smaller numbers, where rockets are shot, where drones are dropped. This war would never have started if I were president. This was a war that should have never happened. It shows you what leadership is, what bad leadership can do to a country. Look what happened to the United States, and look where we are right now in just a short period of time. The only question now is how many more lives will be needlessly lost on both sides. China and India are the primary funders of the ongoing war by continuing to purchase Russian oil. But inexcusably, even NATO countries have not cut off much Russian energy and Russian energy products, which, as you know, I found out about 2 weeks ago, and I wasn't happy. Think of it. They're funding the war against themselves. Who the hell ever heard of that one? In the event that Russia is not ready to make a deal to end the war, then the United States is fully prepared to impose a very strong round of powerful tariffs, which would stop the bloodshed, I believe, very quickly. But for those tariffs to be effective, European nations, all of you are gathered here right now, would have to join us in adopting the exact same measures. I mean, you're much closer to this. We have an ocean in between. You're right there. And Europe has to step it up. They can't be doing what they're doing. They're buying oil and gas from Russia while they're fighting Russia. It's embarrassing to them, and it was very embarrassing to them when I found out about it, I can tell you that. They have to immediately cease all energy purchases from Russia. Otherwise, we're all wasting a lot of time. So I'm ready to discuss this. We're going to discuss it today with the European nations, all gathered here. Sure, they're thrilled to hear me speak about it, but that's the way it is. I like to speak my mind and speak the truth. As we seek to reduce the threat of dangerous weapons today, I'm also calling on every nation to join us in ending the development of biological weapons once and for all. And biological is terrible, and nuclear is even beyond, and we include nuclear in that. We want to have a cessation of the development of nuclear weapons. We know, and I get to view it all the time. Sir, would you like to see? And I look at weapons that are so powerful that we just can't ever use them. If we ever use them, the world literally might come to an end. There would be no United Nations to be talking about. There would be no nothing. Just a few years ago, reckless experiments overseas gave us a devastating global pandemic. Yet despite that worldwide catastrophe, many countries are continuing extremely risky research into bioweapons and man-made pathogens. This is unbelievably dangerous. To prevent potential disasters, I'm announcing today that my administration will lead an international effort to enforce biological weapons convention, which is going to be meeting with the top leaders of the world by pioneering an AI verification system that everyone can trust. Hopefully, the UN can play a constructive role, and it will also be one of the early projects under AI. Let's see how good it is, because a lot of people are saying it could be one of the great things ever, but it also can be dangerous, but it can be put to tremendous use and tremendous good, and this would be an example of that. Not only is the UN not solving the problems it should, too often, it's actually creating new problems for us to solve. The best example is the number one political issue of our time, the crisis of uncontrolled migration. It's uncontrolled. Your countries are being ruined. The United Nations is funding an assault on Western countries and their borders. In 2024, the UN budgeted $372 million in cash assistance to support an estimated 624,000 migrants journeying into the United States. Think of that. The UN is supporting people that are illegally coming into the United States, and then we have to get them out. The UN also provided food, shelter, transportation, and debit cards to...
Hey, so can we charge the UN for this BS, huh? Wow. So the UN is financing the takeover of the Western civilization, guys. They're the ones financing these illegal aliens that we have to get out of our country, Shady.
And they're absolutely the ones doing it, and they're the ones that have created all these avenues and ways to launder money and to move money around and to utilize the NGOs. And I think that they dovetail perfectly with the military-industrial complex and all of the intelligence agencies and all of their front companies. All of that works together, including with the cartels and everything you see in Venezuela and all the drug smuggling and all that stuff. I think that's all one thing.
That's right. A population control at its finest. How about repopulation? To people that think their way. That's exactly what's happening. You're watching a repopulation of countries of people that would vote their way because they got them there, guys. And then to cheat to take their vote, Shady. I mean, this is a and it's happened before, the repopulation, guys, of the United States of America. Whew, here we go. Back to President Trump, Shady. Wow.
To illegal aliens, can you believe that? On the way to infiltrate our southern border. Millions of people came through that southern border. Just a year ago, millions and millions of people were pouring in, 25 million altogether over the 4 years of the incompetent Biden administration. And now we have it stopped, totally stopped. In fact, they're not even coming anymore because they know they can't get through. But what took place is totally unacceptable. The UN is supposed to stop invasions, not create them and not finance them.
The UN is supposed to stop invasions, not finance them and create them, guys.
What's a coup? Is a coup
it's a two-door car?
No, not a coupe.
Oh, a coup.
Yes.
Coup. Cocoa Puffs? So what is a coup, right? This is infiltration, right? And takeover of a government, a society, essentially.
A monetary system, effectively, right? So aren't we talking about the pesos, and aren't we talking about the Federal Reserve, and aren't we talking about the IMF and the way that they've utilized the IMF to come in and take over a country? And then they put up all of these NGOs within the country and all of the front companies, and then all of a sudden all the NGOs and the front companies are puppeting the government, and nothing that the government does benefits the people, and then the people become unrestful, and they're aggravated at the government. And I don't know if anybody saw what happened in the Philippines a few weeks ago, but that's where it ends up.
Shady, your president is poking these mofos in the all-seeing eye. How about that?
They've only got one eye, and he's got two hands.
And two fingers. Bing, and there. Oh. All right, back to our president, Donald J. Trump. Check it out. Oh, my gosh.
In the United States, we reject the idea that mass numbers of people from foreign lands can be permitted to travel halfway around the world, trample our borders, violate our sovereignty, cause unmitigated crime, and deplete our social safety net. We have reasserted that America belongs to the American people, and I encourage all countries to take their own stand in defense of their citizens as well. You have to do that because I see it.
Not the government.
Mentioning names, I see it, and I can call every single one of them out. You're destroying your countries. They're being destroyed. Europe is in serious trouble. They've been invaded by a force of illegal aliens like nobody's ever seen before. Illegal aliens are pouring into Europe. Nobody is ever, and nobody's doing anything to change it, to get them out. It's not sustainable. And because they choose to be politically correct, they're doing just absolutely nothing about it. And I have to say, I look at London, where you have a terrible mayor, terrible, terrible mayor, and it's been so changed, so changed. Now they want to go to Sharia law, but you're in a different country. You can't do that. Both the immigration and their suicidal energy ideas will be the death of Western Europe if something is not done immediately. This cannot be sustained. What makes the world so beautiful is that each country is unique. But to stay this way, every sovereign nation must have the right to control their own borders. You have the right to control your borders, as we do now, and to limit the sheer numbers of migrants entering their countries and paid for by the people of that nation that were there and that built that particular nation at the time. They put their blood, sweat, tears, money into that country, and now they're being ruined. Proud nations must be allowed to protect their communities and prevent their societies from being overwhelmed by people they have never seen before, with different customs, religions, with different everything. Where migrants have violated laws, lodged false asylum claims, or claimed refugee status for illegitimate reasons, they should, in many cases, be immediately sent home. And while we will always have a big heart for places and people that are struggling and truly compassionate, answers will be given. We have to solve the problem, and we have to solve it in their countries, not create new problems in our countries. And we are very helpful to a lot of countries that are just not able to send their people anymore. They used to send them to us in caravans of 25,000, 30,000 people each. These massive caravans of people pouring into our country, totally unchecked and unvetted. But not anymore. According to the Council of Europe in 2024, almost 50% of inmates in German prisons were foreign nationals or migrants. In Austria, the number was 53% of the people in prisons were from places that weren't from where they are now. In Greece, the number was 54%, and in Switzerland, beautiful Switzerland, 72% of the people in prisons are from outside of Switzerland. When your prisons are filled with so-called asylum seekers who repaid kindness, and that's what they did, they repaid kindness with crime. It's time to end the failed experiment of open borders. You have to end it now. Let's see, I can tell you. I'm really good at this stuff. Your countries are going to hell. In America.
Boom! Right there, Shady Grove. Right there. He is really good at this stuff, and their countries are, in fact, going to hell. I love it. Take that, Illuminati.
He says it right to him. He don't care. What are you going to do about it?
Boom.
We've taken bold action to swiftly shut down uncontrolled migration. Once we started detaining and deporting everyone who crossed the border and removing illegal aliens from the United States, they simply stopped coming. They're not coming anymore. We're getting a lot of credit, but they're not coming anymore. This was a humanitarian act for all involved, because on the trips up, thousands of people a week were dying. Women were being raped. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Raped, horribly beaten, raped. On the trip up, the journey up, it was a long walk. It was a long, arduous journey, indeed. And it was also a historic victory against human trafficking throughout the region. What we did was a victory, and we saved so many lives of people that wouldn't make the journey. That journey.
The UN is now being called human traffickers. You hear that?
That's exactly what he's saying, and this is not like this is not a small reality, guys. He's literally putting the onus on who has been in charge of all of this. This is crazy.
Boom.
was
And it's
loaded
happening
up with
everywhere
death.
in the world. It's not just here.
Loaded up with death. Dead bodies all along the roads of jungles. To get up, they go through jungles, they go through areas so hot you couldn't breathe. They were dying of suffocation, areas so hot that you couldn't breathe. Dead bodies all over. By them not coming, we're saving tremendous numbers of lives. My people have done a fantastic job in doing what they did, and the American public agrees with it. I mean, I was very proud to see this morning I have the highest poll numbers I've ever had. Part of it is because of what we've done on the border. I guess the other part is what we've done in the economy. Joe Biden's policies empowered murderous gangs, human smugglers, child traffickers, drug cartels, and prisoners from all over the world. The previous administration also lost nearly 300,000 children. Think of that. They lost more than 300,000 children, little children, who were trafficked into the United States on the Biden watch, many of whom have been raped, exploited, and abused, and sold. Sold. Nobody talks about that. The fake news doesn't write about it. With many others, young children who are missing or dead. And we found a lot of these children, and we're sending them back, and we've been sending them back to their parents. They said, nobody knows who they are. They said, where do you come from? And they'll give us a country, and we'll find out, and we'll figure it out, and we'll bring them back to their homes. And the mother and father rush to the door, and their tears in their eyes. They can't believe that they're seeing their son or daughter, their little son or daughter again. We've done almost 30,000 of them so far. Any system that results in the mass trafficking of children is inherently evil. Yet that is exactly what the globalist migration agenda has done, and it's what it's all about. In America, those days, as you know, are over. The Trump administration is working, and we are continuing to work to track down the villains that are causing this problem, and also, as I said, to get back the 30,000 we've already returned. Now I think we're going to have another. We're going to find a lot. You're not going to find all of them. 300, more than 300,000. They're lost or they're dead. They're lost or they're dead because of.
Now, remember, people are saying it's about the children. It is about the children, not just children age-wise. It is about all of God's children. If you just focus on the children, it's much smaller than the women and the men that are being trafficked as well. But it's all equal in all parts. God's children. All of us are God's children, okay? And that's the huge, that's why this is so big, guys.
All of us except for the children of darkness.
Yes. We're the children of light. God bless you all. Back to Donald Trump. Wow. This is historic, guys. One for the history books.
Yeah, because he's going to build off of this. Like this is not like some sort of speech. This is like what he's going to start advocating for. He's going to start shaming people, just like you've seen him shame your Democrat politicians and people in the media. Well, he's getting ready to take that global.
Yes. Boom.
That's why Jeff's so excited.
I know.
I know.
To protect our citizens, I've also designated multiple savage drug cartels as far as and you see this, and you see it happening right before your eyes. Let's put it this way. People don't like taking big loads of drugs in boats anymore. There aren't too many boats that are traveling on the seas by Venezuela. They tend not to want to travel very quickly anymore. And we've virtually stopped drugs coming into our country by sea. We call them the water drugs. They kill hundreds of thousands of people. I've also designated multiple savage drug cartels as far as foreign terrorist organizations, along with two bloodthirsty transnational gangs, probably the worst gangs anywhere in the world, MS-13 and Tren de Aragua. Tren de Aragua is from Venezuela, by the way. Such organizations torture, maim, mutilate, and murder with impunity. They're the enemies of all humanity. For this reason, we've recently begun using the supreme power of the United States military to destroy Venezuelan terrorists and trafficking networks led by Nicolas Maduro. To every terrorist thug smuggling poisonous drugs into the United States.
And look at Venezuela right there. Look at them. Look at them. These are the people bringing drugs into your country. Okay? You don't think the UN wants to stop it? That's, they're killing your children with fentanyl and whatever else they're shipping over here into their shitty boats. Okay? Venezuela knows every boat that goes out. So do rogue governments, military operators, Shady Groove. These people are sick. Yes, look at them. Well, they're probably like trying to translate, but look at them. You guys are killing your own people by letting them bring drugs over here by getting their boats blown up, guys.
I was thinking that they might be on the phone sending a message saying, don't send the drug boat because Trump is going to still get it even though he's here at the conference.
Yeah, exactly. He's not out there actually doing it.
He's not going to do it, but they're going to get you anyway.
They're going to get you. They're going to get you.
United States of America, please be warned that we will blow you out of existence. That's what we're doing. We have no choice. Can't let it happen. They're destroying.
He just told the Venezuelan government and other countries that we will blow you out of existence, guys, at the UN.
I would recommend you keep your drugs.
Watch the water.
Better stock up, Democrats, because there's not going to be much supply soon.
Yeah. Wow.
They're going to sober
we lost 300,000 people last year to drugs, 300,000. Fentanyl and other drugs. Each boat that we sink carries drugs that would kill more than 25,000 Americans. We will not let that happen. Energy is another area where the United States is now thriving like never before. We're getting rid of the falsely named renewables. By the way, they're a joke. They don't work. They're too expensive. They're not strong enough to fire up the plants that you need to make your country great. The wind doesn't blow. Those big windmills are so pathetic and so bad, so expensive to operate. And they have to be rebuilt all the time, and they start to rust and rot. Most expensive energy ever conceived, and it's actually energy. You're supposed to make money with energy, not lose money. You lose money, the governments have to subsidize. You can't put them out without massive subsidies. And most of
All right, so we're going to just pause for a second, too, because we do have a sponsor to the show today, and we're very proud to have this sponsor. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, my God, blah, blah, blah. But this is our sponsor for today. It is right here. Let me get it up here, Shady Groove. No pun intended. Here we go. Hey, football fanatics, are you ready for some primetime NFL action? Tune in to Westwood One for all the gridiron glory you crave, from jaw-dropping touchdowns to game-changing plays. Don't miss a moment of excitement. Catch every snap, every tackle, and every victory on Westwood One. You can listen to the NFL and the NFL app on the Westwood One Sports app, or on what's, oh my gosh, this is a tongue twister, but I love it. But you also got to go to westwoodonesports.com via Westwood One station streams, or by asking your little Alexa to open Westwood One Sports. If it's the NFL, it's on Westwood One. Shady.
Alexa.
We're going to just continue through break on Red State Talk Radio because we've got so much to cover. It's like a fire hose up in here, Shady.
Man, well, I'm telling you, it's not our fault that Donald Trump acts like the road runner, okay? And the road runner guy, it's so good, isn't it? I mean, is it not the perfect example of exactly how we beat them? Like every single, do you remember the Road Runner cartoon? Like every single thing that the coyote would try to do to the road runner, he would end up doing to himself. That was the lesson. Like, don't do terrible stuff to people because more than likely it's going to come back on you.
Yeah.
The Democrats are the most hard-headed group of human beings we've ever had.
I mean, Nancy Pelosi literally came out on drugs. Our cold open basically was Nancy Pelosi slurring her words because she's on drugs and vodka, Shady.
You think it was Venezuelan vodka?
No, it was Russian vodka and Venezuelan fentanyl, probably.
Oh, no wonder. That was like the R, the hard R slur, right? Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Pork and beans.
Pork and beans.
Back to President Donald J. Trump. We're carrying on through the break. Red State Talk Radio. Go to rumble.com/MG show. Here we go.
Too much fun here.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing.
This is so
built
much
in China,
fun.
and I give China a lot of credit. They build them, but they very few wind farms. So why is it that they build them and they send them all over the world, but they barely use them? You know what they use? Coal. They use gas. They use almost anything, but they don't like wind. But they sure as hell like selling the windmills. Europe, on the other hand, has a long way to go with many countries being on the brink of destruction because of the green energy agenda. And I give a lot of credit to Germany. Germany was being led down a very sick path, both on immigration, by the way, and on energy. They were going green and they were going bankrupt. And the new leadership came in and they went back to where they were with fossil fuel and with nuclear, which is good. It's now safe. You can do it properly. But they went back to where they were and they opened up a lot of different plants, energy producing plants, and they're doing well. I give Germany a lot of credit for that. They've said this is a disaster, what's happening. They were going all green. All green is all bankrupt. That's what it represents. And it's not politically correct. I'll be very badly criticized for saying it, but I'm here to tell the truth. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I'm in New York City. I'm feeling a lot safer. Crime, we're getting crime down. And by the way, speaking of crime, Washington, D.C. was the crime capital of America. Now it's after 12 days, it's a totally safe city. Everyone's going out to dinner. They're going out to restaurants. Your wife can walk down the middle of the street with or without you. Nothing's going to happen. My people have done a fantastic job. And yes, I called in the National Guard, and the National Guard took care of business, and they weren't politically correct, but they took care of business. We got 1,700 career criminals out, brought them back to where they came from, the countries where they came from, or put them in jails. Washington, D.C. is now a totally safe city again, and I welcome you to come. In fact, we'll have dinner together at a local restaurant, and we'll be able to walk. We don't have to go by an armor-plated vehicle. We'll walk right over there from the White House. They've given up their powerful edge, a lot of the countries that we're talking about in oil and gas, such as essentially closing the great North Sea oil. Oh, the North Sea, I know it so well. Aberdeen was the oil capital of Europe, and there's tremendous oil that hasn't been found in the North Sea. Tremendous oil. And I was with the Prime Minister I respect and like a lot, and I said, you're sitting with the greatest asset. They essentially closed it by making it so highly taxed that no developer, no oil company can go there. They have tremendous oil left, and more importantly, they have tremendous oil that hasn't even been found yet. And what a tremendous asset for the United Kingdom. And I hope the Prime Minister is listening, because I told it to him 3 days in a row. That's all he heard. North Sea oil, North Sea, because I want to see them do well. I want to stop seeing them ruining that beautiful Scottish and English countryside with windmills and massive solar panels that go 7 miles by 7 miles, taking away farmland. But we're not letting this happen in America. In 1982, the executive director of the United Nations Environmental Program predicted that by the year 2000, climate change would cause a global catastrophe. He said that it will be irreversible, as any nuclear holocaust would be. This is what they said at the United Nations. What happened? Here we are. Another UN official stated in 1989 that within a decade, entire nations could be wiped off the map by global warming. Not happening. You know, it used to be global cooling. If you look back years ago in the 1920s and the 1930s, they said, global cooling will kill the world. We have to do something. Then they said global warming will kill the world, but then it started getting cooler, so now they could just call it climate change, because that way they can't miss. It's climate change. Because if it goes higher or lower, whatever the hell happens, there's climate change. It's the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world, in my opinion. Climate change, no matter what happens, you're involved in that. No more global warming, no more global cooling. All of these predictions made by the United Nations and many others, often for
Shady, I just walked from the kitchen into the hallway and into the office, and my climate changed. That's what happens. Your climate changes. It's so stupid. Climate change is a joke, guys.
Bad reasons were wrong. They were made by stupid people that have cost their countries fortunes and given those same countries no chance for success. If you don't get away from this green scam, your country is going to fail. And I'm really good at predicting things, you know. They actually said during the campaign,
I'd say something.
they had a hat, the best-selling hat. Trump was right about everything.
Yeah, so I just wanted to...
I'll see if Yeti puts you on the screen.
Okay, Yeti, put me on the screen. How long will it take? Here we go. Ooh. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, this is amazing. And the thing is, a lot of the times, and I think that many of you have picked up on this, you have to hear what's not being said. The thing that's not the thing that's being talked around, the thing that's not being said, you've got to hear it. What he's basically saying right there to you is that it's engineered mutual destruction. Okay, this is what he's trying to explain. He's not talking. He knows that the people that are there that he's speaking to, the human beings that are in the room that he's speaking to, aren't hearing a word he's saying. The people that he's speaking to are the people that are in the countries, the human beings that are like you and I, that are back home, that are living with dirt floors, or living in a reality where they're surrounded by immigrants and they can't go outside, or living in situations where crime is run rampant, are completely sidelined and told that they are racist because they have conservative ideas, or maybe they believe in Jesus, or are a Christian in a bunch of these nations and are being persecuted. All of these different things that he's talking to, he's talking about the destruction that is intentionally being levied against these countries per this organization, the UN/IMF, globalist elite, whatever you want to talk about. So effectively, what Donald Trump is doing here today is he is igniting a fire, the fire that he ignited in you guys in 2015, in all of us in 2015. You know, he lit a fire and we were like, okay, well, let's, you know, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but more than likely he's going to be like everybody else. It turned out he wasn't like everybody else. And now he's giving the rest of the world a shot to say, hey, you know what? We're people too. You know what? We outnumber these nitwits in our government also. You know what? We could create a representative government as well if we decided to work together against the establishment that is intentionally trying to destroy us. Thank you.
Well said. Well said. And here we go back to Donald J. Trump poking the all-seeing eye right in the frickin' left eye, Shady Grove. Here we go.
It's the only one that's got left.
Well, it's the only one he has.
Yeah, right.
And I don't say that in a braggadocious way, but it's true. I've been right about everything.
Trump was right about everything.
And I'm telling you that if you don't get away from the green energy scam, your country is going to fail. And if you don't stop people that you've never seen before, that you have nothing in common with, your country is going to fail. I'm the president of the United States, but I worry about Europe. I love Europe. I love the people of Europe. And I hate to see it being devastated by energy and immigration.
I love him. He's been sitting here. Look at him. Look at this guy. This would be me sitting there. Like, you know, these are like, you know, regular people and anons right here.
Yeah, he's like, he knew this was coming long ago. Exactly right.
This is a regular people, even though that's the great Susie Wiles, and you got all of the great Marco Rubios, you got all the great people that are supporting President Trump. But it's the expression that they're making, like normal people, normies, okay? Anons. Right there, guys.
We are giddy.
Oh, I love it.
This double-tailed monster destroys everything in its wake, and they cannot let that happen any longer. You're doing it because you want to be nice, you want to be politically correct, and you're destroying your heritage. They must take control strongly and immediately of the unmitigated immigration disaster and the fake energy catastrophe before it's too late. The carbon footprint is a hoax made up by people.
Apparently, that was DOE, Department of Energy, Christopher Wright, according to C. Hunt. Thank you so much, C. Hunt. And you're naked, by the way. Thank you.
With evil intentions, and they're heading down a path of total destruction. You know, the carbon footprint was a big, big thing a few years ago. I remember hearing about the carbon footprint, and then President Obama would get into Air Force One, a massive Boeing 747, and not a new one, an old one with old engines that spew everything into the atmosphere. He'd talk about the carbon footprint, we must do so. Then he'd get in and he'd fly from Washington to Hawaii to play a round of golf. And then he'd get back onto that big, beautiful plane and he'd fly back and he'd talk about again global warming.
All right. So Michael Fonten says climate change is code for geoengineering. Weather modification has nothing to do with CO2 emissions. So I think, in business, when you change the climate, you're basically, it's a business transaction. You're taking money from people. I think climate change means breaking the country, the American public, the American people, taking all their money and using it for bullshit, Shady.
Yeah, well, and effectively, essentially, they are doing these things to try to make it look like that the climate is increasing, that it is human-caused climate change.
Yeah, and I think it has to do with taking your money. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me see, CLIMATE, change business. In business. So what does that mean in business, right? It risk and opportunities for business. No, that's a greenhouse crap. No, there's something in business when you talk about climate change in your, I don't know, competing with competitors and all that stuff. You see what I'm saying?
I do.
All right, here we go. Back to our president, my president, your president, Donald J. Trump.
The president.
And the carbon footprint.
The president.
It's a con job. At extreme cost and expense, Europe reduced its own carbon footprint by 37%. Think of that. Congratulations, Europe. Great
Leland, perfect. Political climate change. Exactly.
job. It cost yourself a lot of jobs.
We're actually
a lot of
doing that right now.
stalls, but you reduced the carbon footprint by 37%. However, for all of that sacrifice and much more, it's been totally wiped out and then some by a global increase of 54%. Much of it coming from China and other countries that are thriving around China, which now produces more CO2 than all the other developed nations in the world. So all of these countries are working so hard on the carbon footprint, which is nonsense, by the way. It's nonsense. It's interesting. In the United States, we have still radicalized environmentalists, and they want the factories to stop. Everything should stop. No more cows. We don't want cows anymore. I guess they want to kill all the cows. They want to do things that are just unbelievable, and you have it too. But we have a border, strong, and we have a shape, and that shape doesn't just go straight up. That shape is amorphous when it comes to the atmosphere. And if we had the most clean air, and I think we do, we have very clean air. We have the cleanest air we've had in many, many years. But the problem is that other countries, like China.
All right, cat arm. We need to do more than just hear and talk it. We need action and put an end to all of it. It's happening. You do need people to talk, and you do need people to hear in order to get the action to put an end to it all. It's happening, guys. And then it happens with legislation. Go.
Yes, exactly. This is literally what the founding fathers wanted us to do. This is the reason that the cornerstone of our society is freedom of speech. They wanted us speaking a ridiculous amount. What they understood was that the more that we talk, the less that we fight.
Yeah.
The more that we talk, the less that we fight. And everybody and I, talking to the comment there, I understand your comment, understand your frustration, and
I understand it too. And this is not an attack. This is a dialogue.
Point. Yes, a larger point that to some degree society has worn us down like sandpaper, right? Like we've been worn down to like where we're like we have no grit left. Donald Trump is giving us our grit back so that we're friction again. And that we can actually afford the change, because you can't actually sand down the surface and make it smoother if your surface is also smooth. We have to be belligerent. We have to be truthful.
Yeah, and we're so worn down and so sick of it that we're looking at this FBI like we looked at the last FBI.
That's right.
If you're looking at this FBI with your guy in charge, Kash Yep Patel, name to remember, if you're looking at the FBI in that regard with those color lenses, you need a little help. Give them a little space to work, guys. Things are happening. Legislation is happening. Could be state conventions happening. The Congress is breaking. The Democrats are broke. They're drunk. They're on drugs. They have no solutions, no plans, nothing. It is the death spiral of the Democrat Party. You're witnessing it right now. And the old guard is going to go away. And who does that bring in? People that supported Charlie Kirk. That's the next generation of leaders right there, guys. It is happening.
And I think that's so important for us to make that point, because we have been ground down, and we have been like sent in this cynical spiral that we're in of thinking, oh, nothing's ever going to be done. But what we've seen happen is actually a decoupling from the United States federal government and these nonsensical legislation and laws and restrictions and rules. That we are decoupling from that. The USAID stuff, the stuff that Rubio is doing, the things that Hegseth are doing about the DEI and getting all that stuff out. Well, the rest of the world is still full on board with that. They're all still moving in that direction, and we've already started to move in a different direction. So Donald Trump is basically giving the world an update saying, listen, guys, your stupid is showing.
Yeah. And the politically correct stuff is over. Like, look,
right.
You know, you live in our country, the United States of America. It's a beautiful country. You can be gay, straight, trans. You can be whatever religion you want. That's what the beauty is of America. You don't need special rights. Okay? Right. Nobody needs special rights because I don't agree with what you want to do to your bodies. I don't agree. And as an American taxpayer, I don't want to pay for it. If you're 18 and you want to go mutilate your body, so be it. Where we go one, we go all. We may not like everybody but you know, we can live together. We can coexist and respect people's rights and respect people's privacy and just respect people again, Shady.
Exactly right. And stop trying to make everybody into what you are.
Yeah. Because that's satanic. That is not of God.
But that's also and that's also what they are trying to do. The ones that are lording over us, that's the reason they make you say things. Oh, say Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Say General Flynn's a hero. There's no difference in those two things.
Right. Exactly. All right. Back to the president who is taking it to the globalists. Here we go.
China, which has air that's a little bit rough, it blows. And no matter what you're doing down here, the air up here tends to get very dirty because it comes in from other countries where their air isn't so clean. And the environmentalists refuse to acknowledge that. Same thing with garbage. In Asia, they dump much of their garbage right into the ocean. And over about a 1 week and 2 week journey, it flows right past Los Angeles. You've seen it. Massive amounts of garbage, almost too much to do anything about, flowing past Los Angeles, past San Francisco. And then somebody will get in trouble because he dropped a cigarette on the beach. The whole thing is crazy. The primary effect of these brutal green energy policies has not been to help the environment, but to redistribute manufacturing and industrial activity from developed countries that follow the insane rules that are put down to polluting countries that break the rules and are making a fortune. They're making a fortune. European electricity bills are now 4 to 5 times more expensive than those in China, and 2 to 3 times higher than the United States. And our bills are coming way down. You probably see that our gasoline prices are way down. You know,
that's amazing for him to be saying that. I caught pieces of this, and we were already like doing our thing this morning. I didn't hear that. This is amazing. Do you think the people of Europe know that they're paying that much more than China? Because they're all assimilating with China. Like all the people of Europe are seeing their leaders kneel down and kiss the feet of China. Do you think that the people in Europe realize that China has energy that's that much cheaper, and they've got all these things, all these equipment that they're buying from China to make their quote unquote green energy? Do you think China's cheap energy is being made by green technology?
No.
It's being made by coal-fired plants. They're building like 10 of them a month or some crazy stuff.
I mean, could you imagine? Oh, we got everybody hooked on this green stuff. We're not green, but we're going to build everything that's green.
Including America, and everybody's going to be behind us, and then we will literally squish them like grape.
Common sense.
No, we have an expression, drill, baby, drill, and that's what we're doing. We're going to be much lower in a year from now. But they've come way down over the last year. As a result, every air conditioner is like very uncommon to see one in some of these countries because the electric costs are so high. So while the U.S. has approximately 1,300 heat-related deaths annually, that's a lot, Europe loses more than 175,000 people to heat deaths each year because the costs are so expensive you can't turn on an air conditioner. What is that all about? That's not Europe. That's not the Europe that I love and know. All in the name of pretending to stop the global warming hoax. The entire globalist concept of...
and we just basically showed you what the hoax is. Very simply explained, right?
I think we're on the same page, man. I'm not sure.
Wow. Are we on the same page as President Trump? It seems like it. A lot.
It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Asking successful industrialized nations to inflict pain on themselves and radically disrupt their entire societies must be rejected completely and totally, and it must be immediate. That's why...
And also remember, Hitler was the first green energy person, okay? So if you like green energy, you like Hitler's plan, okay? Funny. And they also did exactly what the left does to you if you don't like green energy. They heckle you. They pay for protesters to come get you. You can't be politically correct. They drown you in threats of violence and into submission. That's what they've done to us. Not anymore.
It's done.
It's done. I don't care about your individual rights, no matter what group you belong to. You are an American. If you don't like it, GTFO.
Now.
In America, I withdrew from the fake Paris Climate Accord, where, by the way, America was paying so much more than every country. Others weren't paying. China didn't have to pay until 2030. Russia was given an old standard that was easy to meet, 1990 standard. For the United States, we're supposed to pay like $1 trillion. And I said, this is another scam. The fact is, the United States has been taken advantage of by the world for many, many years, but not any longer, as you probably noticed. I unleashed massive energy production and signed historic executive orders to hunt for oil. But we don't have to do much hunting because we have the most oil of any nation anywhere, oil and gas in the world. And if you add coal, we have the most of any nation in the world. Clean, I call it clean, beautiful coal. You can do things today with coal that you couldn't have done 10 years ago, 15 years. So I have a little standing order in the White House. Never use the word coal, only use the words clean, beautiful coal. Sounds much better, doesn't it? But we stand ready to provide any
down with
country
CBC?
with abundant,
Yeah, you know
affordable
me.
energy supplies if you need them, when most of you do. We're proudly exporting energy all over the world. We're now the largest exporter. In the United States, we want trade and robust commerce with all nations, everybody. We want to help nations. We're going to help nations. But it must also be fair and reciprocal. The challenge with trade is much the same with climate. The countries that followed the rules, all their factories have been plundered. It's really sad to watch. They've been broken. They've been broken by countries that broke the rules. That's why the United States is now applying tariffs to other countries, and much as these tariffs were for many years applied to us, uncontrollably applied to us. We've used tariffs as a defense mechanism under the Trump administration, including my first term, where hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs were taken in. And by the way, we had the lowest inflation, and now we have very low inflation. The only thing different is that we have hundreds of billions of dollars flowing into our country. But this is how we will ensure that the system works for everyone and is sustainable into the future. We're also using tariffs to defend our sovereignty and security throughout the world, including against nations that have taken advantage of former U.S. administrations for decades, including the most corrupt, incompetent administration in history, the sleepy Joe Biden administration. Brazil now faces major tariffs in response to its unprecedented efforts to interfere in the rights and freedoms of our American citizens and others, with censorship, repression, weaponization, judicial corruption, and targeting of political critics in the United States. I have a little problem saying this because I must tell you, I was walking in and the leader of Brazil was walking out. We saw him and I saw him, he saw me, and we embraced. And then I'm saying, can you believe I'm going to be saying this in just 2 minutes? But we actually agreed that we would meet next week.
It was a loving embrace.
We didn't have much time to talk, like about 20 seconds. They were in retrospect, I'm glad I waited because this thing didn't work out too well. But we did talk. We had a good talk, and we agreed to meet next week, if that's of interest. But he seemed like a very nice man, actually. He liked me, I liked him. But if you, and I only do business with people I like. When I don't like them, I don't like them. But we had, at least for about 39 seconds, we had excellent chemistry. It's a good sign. But also in the past, Brazil, can you believe this, unfairly tariffed our nation, but now because of our tariffs, we are hitting them back, and we're hitting them back very hard. As president, I will always defend our national sovereignty and the rights of American citizens. So I'm very sorry to say this, that Brazil is doing poorly and will continue to do poorly. They can only do well when they're working with us. Without us, they will fail, just as others have failed. It's true. Next year, the United States will celebrate the 250th anniversary of our glorious independence, a testament to enduring power and American freedom and spirit. We will also be proudly hosting the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and shortly thereafter, the 2028 Olympics, which is going to be very exciting. I hope you all come. I hope that countless people from all over the globe will take part of these will be great celebrations of liberty and human achievement, and that together we all can rejoice in the miracles of history that began in July 4th, 1776, when we founded the light to all nations. And it's something really that an amazing thing came out of that date. It's called the United States of America. In honor of this momentous anniversary, I hope that all countries who find inspiration in our example will join us in renewing our commitment, values, and those values really that we hold so dear. Together, let us defend free speech and free expression. Let us protect religious liberty, including for the most persecuted religion on the planet today. It's called Christianity. And let us safeguard our sovereignty and cherish qualities that have made each of our nations so special, incredible, and extraordinary. In closing, I just want to repeat that immigration and the high cost of so-called green renewable energy is destroying a large part of the free world and a large part of our planet. Countries that cherish freedom are fading fast because of their policies on these two subjects. You need strong borders and traditional energy sources if you are going to be great again. Whether you have come from north or south, east or west, near or far, every leader in this beautiful hall today represents a rich culture, a noble history, and a proud heritage that makes each nation majestic and unique, unlike anything else in human history or any other place on the face of the earth. From London to Lima, from Rome to Athens, from Paris to Seoul, from Cairo to Tokyo and Amsterdam to right here in New York City, we stand on the shoulders of the leaders and legends, generals and giants, heroes and titans who won and built our beloved nations, all of our nations, with their own courage, strength, spirit, and skill. Our ancestors climbed mountains, conquered oceans, crossed deserts, and trekked over wide open plains. They charged into thunderous battles, plunged into grave dangers, and they were soldiers and farmers and workers and warriors and explorers and patriots. They built towns into cities, tribes into kingdoms, ideas into industries, and small islands into mighty empires. You're a part of all of that. They were champions for their people who never gave up and who never, ever gave in. Their values defined our national identities. Their visions forged our magnificent destiny. Everybody in this room is a part of it in your own way. Each of us inherits the deeds and the myths, the triumphs, the legacies of our own heroes and founders who so bravely showed us the way. Our ancestors gave everything for homelands that they defended with pride, with sweat, with blood, with life, and with death. Now the righteous task of protecting the nations that they built belongs to each and every one of us. So together, let us uphold our sacred duty to our people and to our citizens. Let us protect their borders, ensure their safety, preserve their cultures, treasure, and traditions, and fight, fight, fight for their precious dreams and their cherished freedoms. And in friendship.
And fight we will. We fight every day on the MG Show. Thank you, POTUS.
And really a beautiful vision. Let us all work together to build a bright, beautiful planet, a planet that we all share, a planet of peace and a world that is richer, better, and more beautiful than ever before. That can happen. It will happen. It will happen, and I hope it can happen and start right now, right at this moment. We'll turn it around. We're going to make our countries better, safer, more beautiful. We're going to take care of our people. Thank you very much. It's been an honor. God bless the nations of the world. Thank you very much. Bye.
Listen to the applause. And then look who's not applauding. Very interesting. There's us, guys. Wow.
On behalf of the Assembly, I wish to thank the President of the United States.
Yeah, you're welcome. And now get in line, folks, because your ways of doing business and running countries is over. Okay? We are the majority, Shady Grove. You are the majority.
We absolutely are the majority, and I'm hoping that everybody got a real good sense of what was going on there. Something that right there at the end I'm going to focus on really quick here, and I wanted to share with you guys. Did you hear what he said? Did you hear what he said? What was the word? Let me see. Can anybody pick up the word that Donald Trump used at the UN that has almost, from what I've heard, almost never been spoken by an American president at the United Nations? What was that word? What's the word that Shady is talking about that Donald Trump just mentioned for all of us, that said something that no one else has said? I'm going to go right here real quick, guys, and I'm going to ask the my friendly AI here, here you go, Getty. I'm coming over to screen. Did any other POTUS mention Christianity specifically at a UN speech? Former presidents have not typically singled out Christianity for specific mention in UN speeches, and instead they opt for more general references to religion, faith, or God. This approach is consistent with the diplomatic context of the United Nations, which includes member states representing a multitude of faiths. This is what we've been dealing with, everybody. George W. Bush in 2008, the UN General Assembly addresses Bush noted that the extremists, quote, reject the words of the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, or any standard of conscience or morality, placing different faith traditions on equal footing. Well, that's not mentioning Christianity. During an interfaith meeting at the UN later that year, he promoted religious freedom as a central part of the U.S. foreign policy, spoke broadly about faith, stating freedom is God's gift to every man, woman, and child, and noting that the U.S. was founded by people fleeing religious persecution. That's not saying Christianity. Bill Clinton, during his 1998 UN speech, addressed the terrorism. Notice they're only talking about terrorism, emphasizing unity across religious lines, declaring that when it comes to terrorism, there should be no dividing line between Muslims, Jews, Protestants, and Catholics. Ronald Reagan, in his 1985 UN General Assembly, spoke of freedom as the universal right of all God's children, a broad, inclusive reference to faith. And in 1987 speech to the UN, he concluded by saying, "Thank you and God bless you all." Not mentioning Christianity, guys. Donald Trump just said that Christianity is being targeted more than any other religion on earth. He specifically mentioned you. We've just had the largest Christian organized event I think that we've ever seen in America, where over 200,000 people were on the same site, and that broadcast reached well over 100 million homes around the world. Well over that. So, what we're doing right now is we're taking back our position as the moral authority over this world of evil that we live in. And we've been sitting back and we've been letting it wash over us and not standing up for ourselves and being afraid and cowering in the corner. Well, the cornerstone of Christianity is to not face your life with fear. And so Donald Trump is giving back some of your anti-fear.
Shady, I want to also point out real quick, this is President Trump delivers remarks to the United Nations. YouTube has fact-checked it with climate change. The United Nations, look at a direct link. What is climate change?
Oh, here we go.
You guys, shut the F up. Nobody believes in this shit. You can't have a funny little globe holding up a Palestinian flag, Earth. I mean, guys, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous, okay? All this shit right here is absolutely 100% batshit crazy.
Ridiculous.
Wait, I didn't show you there. Look at this shit. So this is President Trump's, this is the White House. They fact-checked him right here, Shady. Climate change refers to a long-term shifts in temperatures and weather patterns. Human activities have been the main driver of climate change. Bullshit. You mean nuke tests from all these countries didn't do anything to climate change, but me driving a car does? You guys are full of shit. Why are they full of shit, Shady?
I don't know.
All right.
Good Lord.
Oh, Lord. Did I go on a rant?
Yeah,
did I do a Shady rant?
No, you kept saying the same bad word over and over.
Well, I can't help it. All right, so we got President Trump with President Zelensky. You ready?
Yeah, I haven't even seen this yet. I can't wait for this piece.
Oh, my God. Here we go.
I knew this was coming.
Here we go. Okay, so we'll begin shortly. It wasn't very long.
There's the Jeopardy music.
Whoa.
It might be shorter than the Jeopardy music.
We've had an interesting day, I think a very productive day. And we're now we're going to start a meeting with
Can't see.
the president who...
I'm trying to get the thing to work right.
The president who we all know very well, and he's a brave man, and he's picking up one hell of a fight. And we'll see how that all turns out. But we're going to have a meeting, and we have about 30 meetings scheduled today. We have a lot of meetings scheduled today, going pretty late into the night. But this is an important one, and we have great respect for the fight that Ukraine is putting up. It's pretty amazing, actually. So, Mr. President, please.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. First of all, thank you for this meeting. Thank you for your personal efforts to stop this war just now, Mr. President. And I'm happy to say that just now our first ladies of Ukraine, first ladies of the United States,
yes,
just now we'll have a meeting about Ukrainian children. Thank you for Melania's personal involvement to this topic. And this is very important. I will brief Mr. President and his team what's going on the battlefield. We have good news. Of course, we want to stop the war.
We have good news on the battlefield.
And
less people die.
Soldiers occupied 360 kilometers this month, and of course we will speak about how to finish the war and about security guarantees. A lot of what to discuss. Thank you.
Would you like to say how you are doing on the battlefield?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. So thanks to our soldiers and to possibility to further the program when NATO countries, by the way, thanks to your support, that they can buy weapons from the United States. So our soldiers this month they occupied 360 kilometers and they encircled 1,000 soldiers. And of course, we want to exchange because we need our soldiers in any case. But thanks to our soldiers, we have this possibility, this opportunity to continue until Russia will stop this war. And I hope that they will stop. In any case, we know that the economy of Russia is with this war. We need more pressure and more sanctions. And I hope with United States, first of all, and Europe, but we support, Mr. President, your idea, and I want to discuss it, how to stop some countries from Europe, how to stop the possibility to buy Russian oil and gas. Right. Yes, I had conversation, by the way, with President of Slovakia, Prime Minister of Slovakia. We had a conversation. I think that they need some alternative ways, and they will support this idea. I'm not sure that Hungarians are ready, but everything is in the future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Mr. President, do you think that NATO countries should shoot down Russian aircraft if they enter their airspace?
Yes, I do.
Mr. President, any update on your talks with President Putin, and do you still trust him?
I'll let you know in about a month from now, okay?
President Trump, your message
are you willing to provide Ukraine with the security guarantees the same way as European allies?
Well, that's later down the road. We'll be talking about that. Hopefully, we'll be in a position to talk about that a little bit later on. It's a little bit too early to answer that question.
Why do you think Mr. Putin is not
Yeah, go
going
ahead,
to meet
please.
with both of you?
President Trump, your message to President Orban, who's refusing to stop buying Russian oil.
Well, he's a friend of mine. I have not spoken to him, but I have a feeling if I did, he might stop, and I think I'll be doing that.
What progress do you think has been made on ending Russia's war against Ukraine since the last time you saw President Zelensky?
Well, the biggest progress is that the Russian economy is terrible right now. It's, as you know, it's crashing. And that, frankly, Ukraine is doing a very good job of stopping this very large army. It's pretty amazing. You know, this is a war that should have ended in 3 days, 4 days. People said it was going to be very quick, and you got to hand it to the Ukrainian soldiers and everybody involved. It's still going on, and that's not a good thing for Russia. This was supposed to be quick, and so, you know, Russia doesn't look very distinguished, having taken 3.5 years now, right? It's about 3.5 years of very hard fighting, and it looks like it's not going to end for a long time.
Mr. President, have you been briefed on the latest alleged drone incursion into Denmark? What do you think of that? And
Where are they?
Into Denmark, Copenhagen. Denmark is saying that there were some drones at the airport, possibly Russian sabotage. What's your response to that? Will the U.S. have a material?
Well, I have no response until I find out exactly what happened. I know about it, but they don't know what happened. But we're going to find out very soon.
Sir.
Would you back up NATO allies? You said that you thought that they should shoot down the Russian aircraft. Would you back them up? Would the United States help them out in some way?
Depends on the circumstance, but, you know, we're very strong toward NATO. NATO stepped up. You know, when they went from 2% to 5%, that was great unity. Trillions of dollars is being pumped in, and they're paying us for the weapons.
You know, shame on these news people wanting to get us into a war. They're trying to get President Trump to say, yes, I would attack Russia. Do you guys understand how stupid these questions are?
It's absolutely insane. And, you know, a lot of people don't really know what's going on over there right now. But over the weekend, Russia had to divert a large number of its commercial air traffic because of attacks from Ukrainian drones that seem to be targeting their passenger aircraft. So,
crazy.
You know, there's some crazy stuff going on. They're literally at their wits' end trying to make, if they do not get World War III, guys, then their whole charade is going to be exposed. Everything that Donald Trump just talked about at the UN, that was exposing their charade, the gross underbelly of what it is that they're doing to the world out of absolute nonsense, where they need World War III so that this conversation that Trump is initiating doesn't persist. If Donald Trump stops World War III, if he stops the endless war machine, then there's going to be accountability on the world stage by the people of these countries in which they've, entrusted leadership.
That's right. And Ukraine is the one sending drones over into the country's airspace, not as well, right? They're sending into Russia. And,
Yes.
Yeah.
And I wanted to now that you mentioned that, there was remember the whole story a couple of weeks ago, and it was talking about another story about the drones going into Poland, and they were like, "Oh, Russian drones landed." If you go and look at the pictures, it was a paper airplane. I mean, Brett Baer was on the air like the other night, said, "Oh, the Russians had a drone in Poland." It literally, do you know those things like that are styrofoam hobby airplanes that are like maybe 10 feet wide or something, but they're real lightweight, whatever, and you fly them like a glider? Like, that's what they were calling a Russian drone that landed in Poland.
Styrofoam. Styrofoam good drone.
Milk it for everything you got.
We go back to Donald J. Trump.
That we send, but that was a big day that nobody thought a thing like that could happen. You had countries that weren't paying 2%, and now they're all paying 5%. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of weapons they're buying, and they're buying them from us. They're buying them from the U.S. In the old days, Biden gave them everything, gave them $350 billion worth of money and weapons. That's a lot of money and a lot of weapons, and we got really not much for it. We gave the money to Ukraine to fight, and they've proven they're very brave. I mean, look, they're fighting, and this is a war going on 3.5 years, and people thought it would be over quickly because Russia's a big military power, and Ukraine, I tell you, they are good fighters. Got to hand it to them. They have a lot of courage, a lot of guts. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Russ. Thank you. Thank you, Russ.
There you have it. Now they're going to have their private meeting, okay? But this stuff is huge, guys. Somebody said, I think it was Susie Q said, why won't President Trump come out and tell the truth about war? He is kind of. He's saying that we're not paying for it anymore. They're buying the stuff from us, okay? The endless wars need to stop. He's talking about the carnage, the death, what's happening. I understand that, there's more to it, like the color revolutions and all that. It'll all come out, Shady.
Well, the fact about that is you have to get into the weeds to explain any of that, and there's really no sense right now. The focus is we have to stop these two from killing each other. And the idea, to me, this is the point to make. I just want you to pay attention. Like, Russia was literally moving in on all of these fronts on Ukraine until Donald Trump took back over. And then once Donald Trump was actually back in the office in January, the Russian encroachment on Ukrainian territory, quote unquote, because they are in Ukraine by their old borders now already, and have separated eastern and western Ukraine. But they haven't hardly moved the line at all since Donald Trump got elected. So that's because Donald Trump made the relationship proper, where the materials that are going to Ukraine, it's flowing right, because Biden had it all screwed up. So they're getting the materials that they need to defend their positions, and Donald Trump is saying that we aren't giving them the weapons. We're selling the weapons to UN, and the UN is doing whatever they're doing with them to NATO, not UN, I meant NATO, and NATO is doing with them to give them to Ukraine. That's the proper way that the relationship should be organized.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to be part of NATO, so like that's
NATO.
Gone. None of these countries should have been, like, there's 3 or 4 of them already that should not have been allowed into it, because part of the agreement was that we would not allow it to encroach further toward the USSR, and we've already not held up that end of the bargain.
Back in the USSR.
I've heard that.
Do they still call it the USSR?
No, they do not. I was referring to the old USSR.
Oh, the old guard.
Yes, that would be in reference to, like, Ukraine and the other countries that were all part of the USSR that broke up in the 80s. Now
so Shady, we've got maybe about 12 minutes left on the air, and we've got an issue where we're low on because there's only one more Friday left.
Premium.
And so Friday for premium, we will do our Pandora's box, the unseen hand of the New World Order, essentially. We will do that on Friday. So if you're not Rumble Premium, get Rumble Premium now. But I really want to, I know maybe we go into right at 2:00, just go over to Premium to try to grab some hours, and we'll do some, other stuff back there on the Premium, Shady.
What I was thinking is maybe, I'm not sure exactly what you want to do for the next few minutes, but I was thinking that we should address the Tylenol.
Yeah, so I want to play specifically. Trump did pretty well, but it was really hard to understand the first time Secretary Kennedy and what he said. What do you want to do? Do you want to play? Because that's 100 hour and 55 minutes, the whole thing.
Yeah, I wasn't really thinking that we're going to play the whole thing.
Yeah. So I want to play Kennedy and some of Trump.
Yes, I think that's good. And I'd like to maybe just address the whole audience on the issue as right now before we move.
No, we'll do that in Premium.
I'd like to just tell to everybody about it before we move to that content in the Premium. Well, before we play it, anyway. What we're seeing is the psychological operations already starting against this, and so I just want you to prepare, because they are already acting like, Tylenol is already coming out and making their statements and acting like this is nothing, and this has nothing to do with anything, and their products are safe. They are not safe. Okay, Tylenol, I have not taken a Tylenol. Personally, I have not eaten a Tylenol in probably 3 decades or longer. My mother would eat Tylenol like it was candy. And it's very interesting how that kind of syncs up with, like, the way that she couldn't see a lot of things that were going on politically. And she also took Tylenol during a pregnancy with me and with my other 2 brothers. Okay, and there are definite issues with Tylenol.
Now, and the things that they're giving, like, oh, look at these experts say they're the Big Pharma, they're the ones that get paid to make a result look like the way they want it to look.
Exactly.
It's junk science. So they're trying to say that this is good science when it's junk science. And Donald J. Trump and Shady, I want to also say that Donald J. Trump says there's nothing to lose by doing what I'm asking. He's asking pregnant women not to take acetaminophen. Okay. I mean, while they're pregnant, and if they have a fever and their doctor recommends it, whatever. But look, try not to take it. He's also saying, like, all these vaccines, the MMR, you take 3 vaccines in one, maybe spread them out. There's nothing harmful at what they're saying. And they're also on top of that saying, we need to start this conversation. This is the conversation starter, okay, where they're going to go and do real science, and they're going to do more things about the, autistic and autism. We're going to get into cancer. This is the preliminary step to go into that conversation. There's nothing, no harm, no foul. Hey, don't, spread out, and you have the right, guys, to spread out your baby's vaccinations. Okay, you have that right. You can say, no, I'm going to give them this one today if you want to, but research all vaccinations. But you should have the right to not do the vaccinations as well.
You have an absolute right of refusal, and the right of refusal is, people that have that right. It's getting stronger for people to refuse. But I was really okay. Number one, I would like. Does anybody know what acetaminophen is? Do you guys know? Who in the audience knows what it is? Do you know where it comes from? Does anybody know where acetaminophen comes from? Because it's insane. Okay, acetaminophen is coal. It's coke. C-O-K-E. Coke.
Yep.
Coal. Coke. That's what it is. It's a petroleum-based item. Okay, that's how they got it. They started learning about this stuff way back in the 1800s, and now they're feeding it to you, calling it acetaminophen.
Yeah.
So the ideas behind Tylenol and acetaminophen and reducing fevers, why it works, who knows? It does actually work to reduce fever. But the reality of the situation is, what is happening is you're giving your child a vaccine. Your child is going to get sick. Your child is going to have a fever from taking that vaccine. And then the only thing that you could give that child is Tylenol.
Yep.
And once that fever hits 105, 106, somewhere in there, and that Tylenol is in there, it quote unquote fries your brain. And then it's fritzy. It gets fritzy. It doesn't connect right.
Yep.
It's like, it never goes back to normal. There is amazing research. By the way, I started digging into this stuff yesterday.
And real quick, before you go and jump to the next, we have a comment here. Pediatric doctors tell mothers to give their children Tylenol 45 minutes before the vaccine appointment to reduce possible fever and pain.
Correct. That's it. That's 100% right. And I'm not going to be able to say the name of Lacryoprin. I can't remember what the name of the stuff was that they're talking about. But I was digging into that last night, and oh my God, at the research that is around that. So if you are out there and you are dealing with autism or spectrums of autism in your younger children, even if you have adult children, you need to share this with them, because it looks to me like this could be a really big help. Even if people have been dealing with autism for their whole lives, they're showing signs of improvement from introductions to some of this medication that Dr. Mehmet Oz spoke about yesterday.
Lacryoprin. Thank you, Amanda.
Hoya! Appreciate ya.
Can I get a hoya?
Hoya!
All right. So let's go into this. Yeti, why don't you just take us, right into premium now? We'll see you guys that don't have premium tomorrow. But let's just go into premium now, because we've got some premium to catch up on.
Much love to you guys, and we'll see you here back live tomorrow at same bat channel time, same bat channel.
But stay with us, premium. YouTube. Stay with us.